everybody, welcome to S&S Southern Styles. I am today's host, Mrs. Taylor, and today I'm going to be showing y'all how to make these adorable clay cookie Christmas tree lights. I know they look goofy and I know they look silly, but I absolutely love them. So come on this wonderful journey with me. And what y'all will be needing in order to make these is the Crayola Air-Dry Clay, paintbrushes, water, paper towels or rags, because this is going to get messy, and also paint. Plus, I'm going to need your time because this is going to be a 2-step process. Good luck! From here, we are going to roll out our clay, just like how we would roll out cookie dough. Because in all honesty, it kind of does look like sugar cookie dough. And depending on how thick you want your tree lights to be is fully dependent on how thick you want your clay to be. And I'm just pushing down in the center and then rolling out, trying to have it a consistent thickness throughout. And me patting down is for me to feel how thick it is. We are going to take our tree light cookie cutter and we are just going to press down, just like how you would do with making cookies. And if some of it pops out, that's perfectly okay. I'm going to push it out, which I did push it out too hard and my fingernails showed through, but it's okay. No harm done. I'm going to put that to the side. So I'm going to do a little bit extra details with these. All this rain, you're going to be able to tell which videos I've done and haven't done on what days. We're going to slowly pull up all of our excess clay that we do not need. And now we are going to slowly move up our Christmas lights so that way they don't mess up any. If you do end up messing up with them, you can put them back in the clay pile and just remake them again, or you can try and fix them. Sometimes if they're just little messes, you can easily pinch everything back into place and no one would be able to tell. Now don't worry about any of the little excess clay that's hanging off on the sides. Once they dry up, you can easily take a fingernail file to them or a sander to them and sand up those edges. In all honesty, these do look like fishes right now, and they kind of remind me of the goldfish. Yeah, because all we would have to do is just... Sorry. So the little details that I'm going to do is that I'm going to make lines on where the bulb plugs in at. And the only reason I'm doing this is so that way when I paint it, I have a good visual on where the bulb should connect at. I'm just going through and where the little lines are on my cookie cutter, I'm just following them. All I went through is I made a line to separate the plug-in of the bulb to the actual bulb itself, and then I did little lines to represent the hashes, the spirals in the bulb. So you don't have to do that. I just did it so that way when I go back to paint them, I can see how they're supposed to look. And now from this point, we are going to poke a hole through them, and what you do to one side, you flip it over and do to the other, as you see how big that opening is right here. I hope you can see well. Here. So you see how big the hole opening is here? Well, when you flip it over, it's little. So we're going to go through both sides and poke holes through them. You don't need any special tool for this. A sharp pencil or even a toothpick could make this work. Now, all honesty, even a bobby pin could. We're just going to poke holes through them. Now, if you don't want the holes through them, and you're using these as pins or for your other decor, bless me, don't worry about it. One moment. We're just gonna go through, and what you do to one side, you're gonna go and do to the other side. I'm gonna have to eat some food soon. Hopefully you won't be able to hear my belly through the camera. Maybe we can just say it's thunder. And I know that these don't look good right now, but I promise once you paint them, they'll look good. But after you paint them, if you realize you don't like the way that they look, we'll always see what we can do, and which we'll talk more about that during the painting process. Because I know that I'm using cookie cutters and we're trying to make tree ornaments out of them, but in all honesty, we could make these look like sugar cookies, how they're supposed to look. We could honestly make them look like sugar cookies. We can make the paint look like icing and make it look like you're wearing gingerbread tree light earrings. There's a lot that we can do with these. So once all these are dried up and ready to go, I will show y'all different ways that y'all can paint these up to make them look differently. Hopefully I'll be able to help. Or hopefully y'all know more than what I do and y'all can make these look even better. So if you can find a way to make your paint thicker and make it look like actual icing, that would be splendid. And it would look so good. And I'm not worried too much if my holes line up correctly or not. And by the time you're done with it, you're not gonna notice. Other people aren't gonna notice. See, and this is one of the tree lights that I'm gonna step on. Is your little hump is supposed to go down, and I put that one inwards. It's all I see are goldfish. But it will be okay. Once I go over to paint it, I can fix it. And in all honesty, I did one more that way, so I might just put the two goofy looking ones together if it doesn't end up well. It's going to take at least 2 or 3 days for these to fully dry up. How you will know is when they're dry is if you feel them and they're not cool to the touch, they're more or less room temperature. That's when you know that they're hardened and dried completely through. If you want to be on the safe side, wait a whole week. After that whole week, I promise you they're going to be completely dry. And also, depending on how thick you made them, does fully depend on how long it's going to take for them to dry out. But I will see y'all then. Bye! So these fellas have been drying for 3 days now. They're going to need at least 2 more days until they're fully drying. Just because of how thick I made them. I have some that I've made thinner than these. The ones I made thinner are completely dry now. But I want to do everything all at once, so I'm going to base my timing off of the thickest ones that I made. But I will see y'all in a couple of days, and at this point, they're still soft enough. At this point, they're still soft enough that you can carve into them if you would like, since they're not fully hardened. That's up to y'all. Be careful not to break them because they might break and chip at that point. I will see y'all in a couple of days. Hello everybody. So it's been a week. That's how long these have been setting out to dry, and the only reason why they've been setting out for a week is because I completely forgot about them. Every clay thing that I made, I had set off to the side and they just left my mind. It's out of sight, out of mind. Unfortunately, that's how it actually works. But on average, it took these fellas 4 days to fully dry up, and it's just because of how thick that I made them. But now that they're fully dried, we can paint on them and mess with them. They're still going to be soft to the touch. They're still going to be cool, but they're not going to feel wet like how they did before. And we're going to start painting on them. I hope that y'all can learn something from this painting. I already have some color set off to the side from the last one that I did, because I am painting these all in one go. It just makes it a lot easier on myself. The paint that I have set out is this brown paint and this white, and these colors are what I'm going to do in order to turn these into cookies, because I finally realized what I wanted to do with these, and I am going to make them look like cookies. But these are the colors that I'm going to be mixing in order to make that cookie look. And then for the quote-unquote icing on it, I'm going to use this silver in order to do the plug. And then I have this glow-in-the-dark red that I'm going to use on the light bulb to see if it actually glows in the dark. If it does, of course, we'll put that at the end of this video. I'm also going to be using this metallic blue in order to make one of these. And then I have this green color that I'm going to use for one of the ornaments as well. And I do have this glow in the dark paint that I can mix in with my paint, but I'm probably, I don't know yet if I'm going to do that or not. I might. I know that I can use this as a topper, but I don't know if I mix this with my color, if it's going to make a neon green color or if it's just going to make that basic glow in the dark color. And then, of course, I have yellow. So those are going to be what my earrings are. Glow in the dark red, the metallic blue, yellow, and then green. I'm going to try and mix the others with the glow in the dark color as well. And like I said, if it works, y'all get to see it at the end. If it doesn't, then you'll know because you won't see it at the end. Either which way, let's get started on painting. So I'm going to put my white over here to the side. Now keep in mind that whatever color you make, the brown that I used is going to dry a darker shade. We're going to scoop up some of my brown, and then we're going to mix it together. And you just keep adding white or adding brown to it until you make your desired color. I'm going to be using multiple shades because I want some to look like gingerbread men, but I want others to look like sugar cookies. And we're just going to paint the top of them. Now keep in mind, every time you mix your paints together, you're not going to get the same shade of color twice. If you do, it's very rare. I'm going to set that to the side. I'm going to get my other one, and the paint that I'm using also dries very quickly, so by the time I'm done painting one, the other one's already going to be dried, which is why I'm using this paint. And I did run out of that color very quickly, so I'm going to make a bundle of it. Just so that way it can last longer. Perfect. So my top side's dry, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to paint my bottom side. And then I'm going to go through and paint my bottom side on this one. Once my bottom and top are dry, then I'm going to go through and paint the sides. Now keep in mind that although your paint might be a different shade of brown, it's not going to make a big difference, nor will it be that noticeable. The only one that's actually going to truly notice it is yourself. But I can assure you, you're going to think it's a bigger deal than what anyone else thinks. I finished cleaning off my paintbrush, and now I'm going to get started on painting the icing on the ornaments. Now I am going to do a top layer of white just because of how much detail I want to put into these, and also because of the glow in dark paint. I don't know how well it's going to be if it doesn't have a good base. So all we're going to do is we're going to dab white in the center. We don't want it fully touching the edge because our goal is to make this look like a cookie. And these fellas do look like goldfish to me. In which these guys aren't going to look perfect or be any means perfection. These are going to be the simple all we're doing is we're just outlining the cookie, having the center part of it be white. I know it looks really goofy and really stupid right now, but I do assure you, by the time we're done with it, it will look good. These are definitely one of the trust the process sort of things. We are going to get started on painting the bulbs. We'll paint that part first, and the color that I'm going to be using first is going to be the glow-in-the-dark red. Always remember to shake up your paint before you use them. I am just going to use a little bit of the red, not a whole lot of it. So instead, I think this is going to be pink. No, it says red. It's a very, very... I haven't used this paint before, so I don't know how it's going to dry up. It says it's red, so I'm going to trust it. Since I'm only using a little bit, after I shook up my bottle, I have a little bit of paint in the cap, and the paint in the cap is what I'm going to use. So that way I'm not wasting any. And the glow-in-the-dark paint is very runny, so I am very, very happy. That I put the base paint of white down. I'm going to end up making multiple layers of this one just from how thin the paint is. And this stuff does not dry out as quickly as the other ones do. So I'm going to set that off to the side. I'm going to get my second ornament up, and I'm going to paint colors on it. And this is a hold our breath and see what happens process. I'm going to clean off my paintbrush. I'm going to dry it off. I'm going to close up the paint. I'm not done with it, but the paint hasn't dried on the ornament yet, so until it does, I'm not going to mess with it anymore. The second color that we're going to use will be the lime green, and I'm using the lime green color instead of a dark green because I want it to look like these light bulbs are aluminum. Hope I said that word right. Pronounced it right. We'll see. We'll find out. So once again, I'm going to use the paint that's in the lid. I'm not going to pour it out just because I'm using a little bit of it and I don't want to waste any of it. Now once this dries, I will put a top coat of the neon, not neon, but the glow-in-the-dark paint that I have. In which the glow-in-the-dark paint, it does say on the bottle that you can mix it with light colors. But instead of mixing it, I'm just going to use it as a topper. Just to be on the safe side. So I'm just trying to keep it in the guidelines of the white that I made. And I'm also trying to prevent it from going into the screw-in part of the bulb. Just because I am going to go and paint silver onto that one. Now I'm not going to do a second coat of the green just because it's going to dry up fine. Cleaned off my paintbrush, now I'm going to dry it off. And we're going to get started on the yellow. Once again, remember, shake up your paint. And the same process that I did before. I'm using the paint out of the lid. I'm not going to pour it out because I'm not using enough of it and I don't want to waste any of it. And we're just going to paint around the guidelines of our white. And I am very, very happy that I put down the white base because it does help a lot. Now with the yellow, I'm going to put the glow-in-the-dark paint on top of it too, once it's done drying. And it's honestly just to see what happens. So glow-in-the-dark paint, it dries clear, so it's not going to make a lot of difference. And I am going through with a second coat on my yellow. I'm going to get my metallic blue and I'm going to shake it up. And I will be putting a second layer of this metallic blue down. going to get neon red out again, and we're going to touch up that. It's not going to be a red color, it is going to stay this pink color, which is slightly annoying. What I think I should have done with it, which it's not too late, I could. What I recommend doing if you're using these colors is put a layer of red down and then put the glow-in-the-dark color on top of it. But all in all, it doesn't look bad. I just will be using different colors next go around. Alrighty, I'm going to get one more layer down for the metallic blue, just to try and straighten it up. And then after this, we're going to get started on the plug-in part of the bulb. So I lied to you, I'm not done. I still have to put the glow-in-the-dark paint on top of the ornaments. Now this will dry clear, so when you put this on, if you use this, don't throw it too much, it will clear up like how Mod Podge clears up. And if you use this and you put Mod Podge over it, it will still work. Now if this does not work, it's not because it didn't work before, it's just from how old it is. So I've used these on some of my shirts before, and it works perfectly fine. But that was a couple of years ago. That's why I say if it doesn't work, it did work when I bought it. The only reason it won't work now is just from how old it is. Which the shirts I used, they didn't have any color on them, they were just white. So I don't know. I know it's going to glow in the dark, I just don't know if it's going to match the colors that I'm using. I don't think it will. No, I have never used that red before. So I don't know if the red is actually going to work or not. I'm not going to worry about the blue. I'm trying to make that glow in the dark just because that's too drying and I would like to move on. So this is the silver that I'm going to be using. And it's been a while since I've used it, so all of this is just dried up paint around it. And I will be doing multiple layers of the silver. Now I'm going to get some black and I'm going to outline plug. I think doing that will make it look better. So what we're going to do is we're going to outline the bottom of it. If I had enough paint, we're just going to outline the bottom of it, and we're going to go all the way up with it, and we're going to create some waves in it, and then we're just going to, yeah, okay, I think that looks cute. I'm going to do that with all of them. I'm not going to make y'all, well, I can do it one more time. I wasn't going to force y'all to watch me do this. So I'm just going to make a curve down at the bottom on the sides of it. I'm going to make a little wavy effect to mimic the twisting motion of it. And then following the same curve, it's going to go back and forth and make a little light bulb. Now I'm going to skip through so you don't have to watch me do all of this. Okay, so I have all of them painted up, and I'm not going to lie, I think they look absolutely adorable. They look goofy and silly, and I love it. I am going to make these again. When I do, I'm going to make them thinner so they're not as thick. So I think if they were thinner, they would look so much better. And I really do like the metallic color. I absolutely love the way that that turned out. So if the glow in the dark doesn't work too well, I am going to paint the rest of them with metallic color so it gives that shiny, luminescing look to it. But I think they look absolutely adorable. I hope that you'll learn something from this. I hope that it helped in some way or some form. I hope so. And I will update y'all at the end of the video if the glow in the dark stuff works or not. But I hope y'all have a blessed week.